What's up everyone, I'm Marian and today I'm going to show you something really cool. I'm going to show you my haptic setup. From the butt kickers that I have to the haptic reactors on the pedals, everything I did to arrive at some amazing results. And just to let you know, I'm running a dual butt kicker setup, one on the right side, one on the left side. Before we even start, I have to say that the position of the butt kicker itself or the haptic that you're using is equally as important as the settings. Because if you put it in a place where the vibrations won't properly reach you, then no matter how good your setting will be, you will still won't feel enough. So I have experimented with multiple places here near my rig, and the best results I got when I mounted the butt kickers on the seat brackets themselves. So in this way, the vibration gets to the seat bracket and then through the seat. It will be a little bit better if you can mount it on the seat itself. Like if you drill the seat and you mount it on the seat, that's gonna be hands down the best place to put your haptics. So let's start first with the butt kickers. I have them connected as a dual channel, as you can see right here in Simhub. One just for the left side, 100% left, 0% right, and the other the opposite way around, 100% on the right side. But it's also important to note that both of them are connected as rear left and rear right. I'm trying to emulate basically what's happening with the car on the rear end with the butt kickers because I have the haptic reactors in front. So in a way, it makes sense to be like that. If you have 4 haptics, then of course you can use here corners. And if you have just a single one, you have to go with mono. And in terms of effects, this is what I'm running. I'm running these 4 effects: the gear shift, the road rumble, an effect that activates only when I'm braking, and an effect that activates only when I'm accelerating. I will show you right now what's going on with this, but it's important to note that you probably want a license for Simhub because the licensed version will give you slightly less delay because all these haptics, they come from telemetry, and in the standard version, there's a bit of a delay between what's going on in the sim and what you're experiencing through the haptics. The delay is not that big, but if you're really paying attention, you can kinda notice it sometimes. And now for the effects. This is the nitty part. The gear shifts doesn't really matter. The configuration is more or less the default one. This is what I'm using. You can just adjust the strength of the effect. I have it at 100% because it's super satisfying to feel the gear shifts in the seat. But then when you're going to road rumble, this is an effect that I highly encourage you to have in your haptics. This can give you a small competitive advantage, and this effect basically handles the way that you feel the car going over curbs. You want to pick a track that has 3D curbs or a sim that has 3D curbs because you need to feel the texture of the curb where you're going over it. And then I configure it as a left-right from here, from the mode. And when I will mount this curb with my left tires, just with the left tires alone, you will see that in the signal that, you see, it registers that I went over the curb. And if I put now my right tires on the next curb, like that, you can see there as well. And when I'm crossing the curb, you see a little bit in both. And this is super helpful because sometimes when you're braking, you want to align yourself with a curb, or you want to slightly brake on a curb, or you want to avoid it. Maybe you don't want to brake on it because you will lose a bit of efficiency under braking. So the moment that you're feeling this vibration, you already know, okay, this is the limit, or I went past the limit. And in order to configure it, you have to just go slowly over the curbs. Look here in the graph whenever you're feeling and seeing the signal. And this is what I'm using in terms of the response filter. I'm using these settings. If you want to feel more, you can increase the input gain, or you can increase as well the gamma factor if you want the slope to look a little bit different. But this was something that worked really well for me. In terms of the frequency, this is the frequency that I'm using. So if you're trying to adjust, what I would encourage you to do is to play with the input gain and the gamma factor. For example, if I'm going to lower the gamma factor, you won't feel the vibrations when you barely touch the curb. So if you don't want to feel when you're just barely brushing it, you can decrease it. But in my opinion, you should have this at least 0.8. Now, another effect that I'm using is an effect that activates only when braking, and that is the lateral G force. So if I'm staying on the throttle right now, nothing will happen in the live effects in the graphs. But if I'm braking and turning, you see, something started to appear. I'm starting to feel the vibration in the opposite side of where I'm turning. If I'm turning here to the left, you will see in the right when I'm braking, the G-force. And once again, the mode is left-right from here. And this can give you a competitive advantage because in a corner, if you do enough repetitions, you will know the vibration that you should be feeling when you're close to the limit. But if, for example, you're going under the limit in one lap, you will feel a softer vibration. And this will tell you, okay, I'm pulling less G's in that corner, I'm under the limit. And it also feels nice in terms of immersion, so I really like this, but I don't like it to have it enabled all the time. So for example, if I'm accelerating, if I'm going just a little bit left to right, I don't want to feel it. Because you can do it on a straight. Let's say we have this straight right here, and maybe someone is behind me, and I will do a little bit towards the left, a little bit towards the right. It feels unnecessary. Maybe it can help with immersion, but I don't like it. I like it to have it just in the corners so I can focus on the performance part, so to speak. So in a way, in my opinion, it's a lot better to have it just on the braking. And the way that I configured it, it's like this. So the effect low force on 3, the effect high force on 100. The reason why I increased it a little bit is because I don't want to feel vibrations when the force is very little or very small. You can increase it a little bit more if you want. And by the way, if you're running different cars, you will be pulling different G's in the corners. For example, if you're running a Formula car versus just running an MX-5. So there's a little bit of space for customization here by car, but you can create a new profile and just change the profile based on the car that you're driving. If you want to be more specific, the response filter looks like this. I have the gamma factor at 1.2, and for the frequencies, I have 44 and 50. In terms of the effect strength, I have it to 63%. All these numbers, you have to basically test them for yourself. I'm just showing you, in a way, how I think about them, but then you have to go on the track, you have to do it for yourself. But if you know what you're looking for, you can get to these results a little bit quicker. And the last effect that I'm using on my butt kickers is an effect that activates only when I'm accelerating, and this is the road vibration. And I have to admit, this is a little bit of my dirty pleasure because it doesn't give you a competitive advantage. I tried different things on different tracks, especially on compression zone, like elevation changes, to feel if I can just understand a little bit quicker when the suspension is compressed or when the suspension is released. But in my testing, it wasn't really an advantage. But for immersion, like just going over the road and feeling the vibration as you go, it's quite nice. So I want to keep it, but I don't want to keep it under braking, because under braking I want to focus on, you know, the braking itself, and it's enough that I get the lateral G force feedback under braking. If I will put the road vibration as well, then it will start to feel like a blend, and it doesn't feel really good. You can't tell what the car is actually doing. It just feels like something is vibrating. So I put it just on the acceleration, because it's just for immersion. It's just that. The way that I configured it though is like this. The sensitivity is 65, the auto threshold to 35. This is the response curve. I increased a lot the input gain and the gamma factor just to amplify it a little bit more. Once again, this is just for having fun. So if we're having fun, let's really have fun. So let's increase it. I added a bit of white noise and delay. This will smoothen some of the portions where you just let's say you go over a little bit of grass. It feels a bit too harsh. This will smoothen it out. For the frequencies 48 and 55. And by the way, if I'm running all these settings for more than 10-20 minutes, the butt kickers will get so hot that they will just turn off. So that's the reason why I decided to get these fans, one on the left, one on the right. It's just a fan basically. The only feature that I like is that you can, you can adjust the angle. So it's super helpful, because you put it on the floor and then you adjust a bit the angle, and this will just cool the butt kicker. and without it you can't really run it unless your room is very cold. But even if you manage to have a nice temperature in the room, I'm quite sure that if you crank up the sliders and you increase the volume, then the butt kickers will just heat up. But if you have a single butt kicker, what do you do then? Well, I have to tell you that it's a bit counterintuitive, but a big mistake I did back in the day when I just got my first butt kicker was to put all the effects in Simhub on it and then try to, you know, with the sliders, try to adjust them. And my hope was that I could feel a little bit of everything. But that was not exactly the case. It will be very hard for you to feel precisely those effects because everything will just feel like a constant noise, almost. So it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but less is more. If you have a single butt kicker, focus on 2 effects, maybe 3 at most. I would even go for 1 or 2 if you have a single butt kicker. It doesn't sound ideal, but trust me, you will feel more enjoyment when you realize that, oh man, the car is doing this and I can feel it, compared with just having a lot of vibrations. You really don't know what the car is doing. You really don't feel like you are in a real car, and then you just have a lot of effects. That's not going to be the case. So less is more if you have one single butt kicker. But now let's move to the pedals. And for the pedals, this is what I'm running. I'm running just these 3 effects: the road rumble, the gear shifts, and the ABS. It's not a lot, but it gets the job done. So first of all, the road rumble, I have it just on the accelerator. So wherever I'm going, like right now, you can see the signal increasing when I'm going over the curbs. And this is once again complementing the road rumble that I have on my butt kickers. It's super nice to feel both of them at the same time while you're mounting the curbs. It generally gives you a bit of an edge because sometimes, as I said, you just want to align yourself with the curb and barely clip it. We don't have too many examples on this track, but if you start to think about it, it's an advantage. You just want to barely touch a part of the track and know exactly when you're doing it. And from the cockpit, sometimes the visibility is not that good. So feeling it in the butt kickers and then feeling it on the throttle, it's a good thing. The reason why I'm not putting effects on the brake and I just use this just for the throttle, by the way, these are the settings, is because if you put effects under braking, your brake shape will start to go up and down. It's almost like the brake shape will start to dance. We'll go a couple of percentages up and down because the brake pedal is vibrating. And that's not really good. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not like you're losing seconds, but still you can't be as precise. In real cars, of course, you have to have that. There's no way around. But on the simulator, why making your life a little bit harder performance-wise? If you enjoy it, of course, go for it. But I'm trying to use effects like this just for the throttle, because on the throttle I'm generally at 100% throttle when that's happening, and even if I'm modulating the 1% drop in throttle and 1% off on throttle, it won't be a big factor, but on the brake it's a little bit more sensitive. So road rumble just for my throttle pedal. Now gear shifts, it's the same principle. I want to feel the gear shifts, I want to feel it on the throttle. So once again, immersion and complementing what I'm feeling from the butt kickers. And lastly, the ABS. The ABS is very good. It is quite good. I tested it in the past couple of weeks. It works very nice. So make sure you're using it. If you have haptic reactors, if you have any types of reactors, it works very well in iRacing, probably works very well in other sims as well. Now the wheel lock effect, I played with it a little. I'm not 100% on board with it, but I can see how it can help new drivers or drivers that are just new to a car. So first of all, what you want to do if you're using wheel lock, put it on the brake. You have to have it on the brake. And use the legacy iRacing algorithm. If you're not using this, the delay will be quite big. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but in my testing without this, it was so bad. And then increase this minimum force. You can use it as a tool to learn to brake at the threshold limit. So making sure the lockups happen at a high percentage when you're pressing the brakes initially. And you probably want it more than 40 here. 40, 45, maybe even 50. In some cases. So increase the minimum force, and if you want to use it as a tool to, you know, understand when you're locking up when turning. So for example, you're turning into a corner, you're braking and turning, and you want to know when the tire is locking up. It works, but I still find that the delay is a bit is not as good. I think if you're just using the lateral G forces, it's a little bit better if you can do it on the butt kickers. But for the brake itself, it's not bad. It's not bad. Definitely play around with it, but use it more in the high percentages. In the high percentages is a better tool, in my opinion. So there you have it, guys. These are my settings. This is my thought process. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. If you want to see more, just click that subscribe button on the channel, give this video a like, and let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you have some haptics on your setup? You're considered to buying some of the haptics? What are the thoughts on it? Let me know. Until then, bye bye.